Is blindness a barrier? No.
Is deafness a barrier? No.
Are mobility, learning, cognitive disabilities, speech impairments and others, or even a combination of them, barriers? No way. Lack of accessibility is.
Welcome to Web Accessibility for All.
Follow the blind. This journey starts now.
Jimi Hendrix. Name synonymous with raw electric genius. His music was unlike anything heard before. His guitar playing, in particular, was revolutionary. He had a unique approach to the instrument. But what's even more astonishing is that Hendrix was left-handed. Yet, instead of conforming to the norm, he flipped a right-handed guitar and created something truly extraordinary, a style that set him apart. Often, accessibility is seen as something about the challenges people with disabilities face in the modern society only. Accessibility goes far beyond that. That's why this episode talks about a condition that 10% of the people of this planet has. Left-handed people, or lefties as they name themselves. Welcome to Web Accessibility for All. I'm Ariel, and today we are diving into a topic that's often overlooked: the challenges faced by left-handed people in the digital world. Being left-handed isn't usually considered a disability, but when you look at how things are designed, it's clear that the world is mostly built for right-handed people. Yes, left-handed folks often face challenges in everyday life, from using scissors and can openers to writing at the desk. It's a world built for the majority.
Now, let's talk about the digital world.
Websites, apps, and devices are often designed with right-handed users in mind. Buttons, menus, and controls are typically placed on the right side of the screen. You may think,
How hard can it be to use a website with your left hand?
imagine trying to fill out a form with all the fields aligned to the right, or using a text editor that all the time is trying to help you by auto-correcting your left-handed writing style. It's like the digital world is always telling lefties,
You're doing it wrong.
believe it or not, there are several ways to improve accessibility for left-handed people, both in design and development.
User-centered design.
Involving left-handed users in the design process to identify and address their specific needs.
Customization options.
Offering customization options that allow users to adapt interfaces to their preferences and needs.
Usability testing.
Conducting usability tests with left-handed users to again identify and fix accessibility issues.
Accessibility standards.
Adhering to web accessibility standards such as the WCAG to ensure that digital products are accessible to all users.
Case study, an accessible web form for left-handers.
Now picture this, a web form with all of its fields and buttons aligned to the right, making it difficult for left-handed users to fill out. Let's try a solution for this.
HTML. Use the dir equal RTL attribute.
By default, most web forms are left to right, or LTR, meaning that fields, labels, and buttons are aligned in a way that favors right-handed use. Using the dir attribute set to RTL on a form element changes the text direction to right to left. This can help left-handed users by aligning the elements in a way that is more comfortable for them.
CSS. Adjust the layout of form elements.
Simply using the dir attribute might not be enough, as it may affect the layout in unintended ways. You may need to adjust the CSS to ensure the form looks and behaves as expected. Use CSS to refine the appearance of the form when in RTL mode, ensuring that the elements are positioned and styled in a user-friendly way.
JavaScript. Implement a function to change form direction in real time.
Not all users may prefer an RTL layout, even if they are left-handed. Providing an option to switch between both modes in real time can enhance user experience by giving them control over the interface. Implement a JavaScript function that allows users to toggle form direction between the two modes, LTR and RTL, dynamically. Okay, let's see how our code looks like. First, we have a form.
Less form ID equals form greater.
Next, we have a label and an input field.
Blank. Less label for equals name greater name, less slash label greater. Less input type equals text ID equals name equals name class equals input field greater.
This input field has a class of input field. Next, we have another label and input field.
Less label for equals email greater email, less slash label greater. Less input type equals email ID equals email name equals email class equals input field greater.
We have a button. This is the submit button.
Blank. Less button type equals submit class equals submit button greater submit less slash button greater.
It has a class of submit button. That's basically the form. Then we added a button to make the switch from one mode to the other.
Less button on click equals toggle direction, greater toggle form direction less slash button greater.
You hear that the onClick is bound to the toggle direction function. This is a JavaScript function that we will be creating later on. And now let's move into the CSS definition.
Dot input dash field left brace.
Now we have the definition of the class input field.
Text dash align colon, left semi. Padding dash left colon, 10px semi. Right brace. Dot submit dash button left brace.
This is a class for the submit button.
Float colon, left semi. Right brace. Blank.
Let's use the value of the dir attribute to define a different styling.
Left bracket dir equals quote RTL quote right bracket dot input dash field left brace. Text dash align colon, right semi. Padding dash right colon, 10px semi. Padding dash left colon, 0 semi. Right brace. Blank.
And let's do the same with the submit button.
Left bracket dir equals quote RTL quote right bracket dot submit dash button left brace. Float colon, right semi, right brace. Less slash style greater.
Now let's move into the JavaScript.
Less script greater. Function toggle direction left paren, right paren, left brace.
This is the function that we call when the button below the form is clicked.
Const form equals document dot get element by ID left paren, form right paren, semi.
Okay, we have a reference to the form. Now we can check for the dir attribute.
Blank. If left paren, form.dir equals RTL right paren, left brace. Form.dir equals LTR semi.
We basically change the value of the dir attribute.
Right brace else left brace. Form.dir equals RTL semi, right brace. Right brace. Less slash script greater.
Okay, pretty simple.
Explanation.
The toggle direction function checks the current direction of the form and toggles it between RTL and RTR. This allows users to switch the form's direction dynamically. The CSS is set up to handle both modes, with conditional styles based on the form's direction attribute. This ensures that the form is visually consistent and functional in both directions. The dir attribute selector targets elements within the form when the dir attribute is set to RTL, applying styles specific to RTL mode. This solution provides a flexible and accessible way to accommodate left-handed users in web forms by using the dir attribute, CSS adjustments, and JavaScript toggle function. So you can create forms that are more inclusive and adaptable to individual user needs. Accessibility for left-handed people is a fundamental aspect of universal design. By designing digital products and services that are accessible to everyone, companies can improve the user experience, increase customer satisfaction, and expand their user base. It's time to recognize that diversity includes not only visible disabilities, but also differences in handedness. Remember, accessibility is not just about people with disabilities. It's about creating products and services that work for everyone. Let's make the web a place where everyone feels welcome, regardless of which hand they prefer to use. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode. See you in the next one. Bye.
Thanks for joining us today. Subscribe for a new challenge next week. And don't be shy. Leave us a review or ask your accessibility questions online. See you next week for another episode of Web Accessibility for All.